It was after 9 o'clock when he left the shop. The night was cold and gloomy. He entered the park by the first gate and walked along under the gaunt trees. He walked through the bleak alleys where they had walked 4 years before. She seemed to be near him in the darkness.
One City One Book is an annual promotion of a book connected with the city, either through the author or the content of the book. It started in 2006, and the idea is to encourage people to read these books, all by Dublin writers and all connected with the city. Books that they may not have ever read before or might not have thought of reading. Joyce is the quintessential Dublin writer. However, a lot of Dublin people have probably not read Joyce. They're intimidated at the thought of tackling Finnegan's Wake or Ulysses. But Dubliners is very accessible. Short stories are an easy way into Joyce. The language is as fresh today as it was when the stories were written around about 1904.
We are very lucky to have writers like that, particularly Joyce, because Joyce identifies Ireland all over the world. I've lectured on Joyce in South America, in the Middle East, in Paris, London, New York, everywhere. So it's a branding. When you say Dublin, people think, oh, that's where Joyce came from, isn't it? If you say Joyce, people say, Joyce, yes, the poet of Dublin. Although he left Dublin, in his early 20s. He never wrote about anything else.
As he crossed Grattan Bridge, he looked down the river towards the lower quays and pitied the poor, stunted houses. They seemed to him a band of tramps, huddled together along the riverbanks, their old coats covered with dust and soot, stupefied by the panorama of sunset, and waiting for the first chill of night bid them arise, shake themselves, and be gone.
The fact that the stories can be looked at as being slightly dismal doesn't really matter. They are a picture of Dublin in 1904, and it may be that in 1904 Dublin was a bit of a dismal place. It's not dismal now. People can sit back and enjoy the contrast. Joyce is now out of copyright. He's out of copyright since January, so it makes it easier to do things with the book.
Well, welcome the lapsing of the copyright, of course, but it was absolute idiocy to allow it in the first place, because we could have got a derogation. But we missed the opportunity because it was kind of smuggled in, and that meant that Joyce, having come out of copyright in 1991, went back in 3.5 years later. And it gave enormous, disproportionate power to the James Joyce estate, of which was not, in my opinion, used wisely at all and did not enhance Joyce's reputation or the celebration of his life or his work in any way.
Through the wide doors of the sheds, she caught a glimpse of the black mass of the boat, lying in beside the quay wall, with illumined portholes. She answered nothing. She felt her cheek pale and cold, and out of a maze of distress, she prayed to God to direct her, to show her what was her duty.
Whether or not Joyce is read, I think he'll certainly be heard.
You read some novelists, say like Hardy, and you'd know you're reading a writer from a different era. You wouldn't with Joyce. His language it's simple in Dubliners. It's simple, and yet it's fresh. So I think yes, his reputation will outlast any of us.